So welcome to Paradwys Diaries. This week we continue our eco-sustainability theme by looking at our biomass boiler and our solar panels.
In November 2017, we moved to the beautiful Ynys Môn, the island of Anglesey in northwest Wales, to begin the adventure of developing a 12-acre smallholding and planting a church, all while learning to be parents for the first time. Moving to a tiny rural village called Paradwys, which is Welsh for paradise, our pioneering journey has seen us venture way out of our comfort zone, trying new things, succeeding at some and facing challenges in others. This is our way to share our journey, encourage you with yours, and of course share plenty of inspiring scenery and cute shots of animals and our young family. We are the Radbourne family, and this is Paradwys Diaries.
So following on from last week and our look at cloth nappies and our attempt to be more sustainable in what we are sending to landfill and what we use, today I thought I'd continue that theme by showing you a little bit more about our biomass boiler that is really coming into its own as we enter autumn and winter, and then also take a look at our solar panels that provide the electricity in our attempt to be more eco-sustainable here at Carreg Dŵr on our smallholding. Now I must admit both of them were installed when we moved here, but they were definitely a major selling point of us wanting to be here and to try and pursue this life of living more sustainably. So let's go and have a look at the biomass boiler to begin with.
So this is it. The red section is the burner, and then the big white tub over there is the storage unit for the water.
So it's amazing how efficient this thing is. So I'm going to clean it out now and you will see, so that was from last week, and I'm going to clean it out now and you'll see how little ash is left over. So basically a lot of the ash that comes out of this is just the sand and grit from the bark of the wood. But it's amazing considering you think that this amount of wood probably goes in at least once a day for a whole week. So 7 times that amount, and all that you get out of it is just this little tiny bit of ash, which just shows how much of it is turned into energy, turned into heat. So that's a particularly low amount, I've got to say. Sometimes this can be full from kind of a week and a half every 2 weeks, especially in winter. It'll depend very much on the wood that you're using, but that's quite amazing. It just shows how efficient this is. So this wood here now is going to go in here. Quite a lot of this will go in. You'll see how much I put in for a burn. We're nearly ready for a burn. This is the sort of time I'd usually put one on because the temperature is down below 50 degrees in the top of this kind of buffer of water, and it's down in the 30s down here, which is pretty cold to shower in. So we're going to try and heat all this up so that this huge tank has 80-degree heat all the way through it, and this amount of wood should do it. And then that, at the minute, in autumn should last us about a day, and that's for both houses, don't forget. So that should do that. In winter we might use kind of 1.5, maybe even 2 burns a day. Obviously it very much depends on how much usage there is, how much heating goes on, and so on. So in the summer when the heating's not on and it's just hot water, we'll only use half of a burn, and that could last us easily 2 days. So it is the system that you just got to kind of get used to. Depends on the wood that you use as well and the calorific value in the wood. So this kind of spruce here doesn't really have a huge amount of calorific value, so you need quite a bit of it, whereas hardwoods, so stuff from our woodland for example, you'll put less in because there is a lot more that comes off it, and will produce a lot more heat as it burns. So in here, put the wood in here, we light it through this hatch, so this is all one unit here. You can see the size of it and the amount of wood that will go in. But then just down here you can see how this chamber comes in. So the heat goes down and round, and as the heat goes round it turns into a gas. So it is just the heat of the gas that then heats the element at the back of the boiler, that heats the water, that then puts that water into this here, which acts like a big battery. So there's 2,400 litres of water in here that then will heat up and act like this storage to then last for the next, well, however long it lasts, half a day, 2 days. So shall we put a burn on? Let's do this. So we just layer the wood in. So you will have seen that we process our own woods, so we use logs, not chips. So this has been brought in and then processed and dried. Drying it, for example, in like the Norwegian round stack, which if you look at episode 7, then you will see what a Norwegian round stack is. We did a whole section on that and how we process the woods. I think that'll probably do it. So you can see we've pretty much used all that wood's gone in. So we get through quite a lot of wood, but obviously it is all carbon neutral. Okay, so next what we do, through this hatch here, we just put a bit of cardboard, but now you'll see that the fan is on and the fan draws the air through and down through the central grid, and it really can get going quite quick. So let's see. You can see how the flame of the lighter is being pulled over. I'm going to try and do it without paper. It's me doing an advanced trick while recording it. Brave. So you can see how the flame has got going and how it's drawing in so quickly. Hopefully that will get lit, and then that will light the wood, and then once that gets going we can close it all up, and then that will just regulate itself and bring through the right amount of air at the right amount of time to get the optimum burn, to be able to put that heat through the element and into the water. So there we go. So that is how we light the boiler, and as I said, you will see on episode 7 and various other episodes as well, we are always talking about our wood, which you can see here, the different piles, and we've got a lot under the cover here. So these are our Norwegian round stacks that are covered over now. So we tend to purchase around 26 tons of wood every 18 months or so. So that's the wood that we're burning now. That is down at the bottom, so they come in a massive delivery, a huge lorry load that then we've got to chop up and split and dry and get that ready. But as I've mentioned, we also coppice our own woodland. So we've got about 5 acres of woodland up the top of our land here that John and his friend Keith do a lot of the coppicing for. And in a few weeks' time, we will do a couple of episodes around coppicing woodland and what that is and what that looks like, and I'll show you more around our woodlands then. So using a biomass boiler means we are pretty much carbon neutral for our heating and hot water, which is great. Obviously there's chainsaw fuel and all that sort of stuff, which is why I say that we're kind of about there. But that is a great thing to do, and one of the other massive benefits of it is we also get paid a RHI, a renewable heat incentive, that covers payments for the energy that we produce that is sustainable, and this actually equates to about £3,000 a year, believe it or not. So £3,000 we get paid, which mostly is then offset against us having to purchase the wood to bring in, and obviously if you included the amount of time that it takes us to process that wood, it's really not cost benefit. But there is this benefit of being able to claim the RHI, which means that pretty much our costs, if you take out the labour, are cost neutral as well. So economically there is a massive benefit. So we have a 3.5 kilowatt array of solar panels, which we are very fortunate that we are on the 2012 solar PV payments, which means that we get about 8 times the amount that you would do today fitting solar panels, which means that overall we get kind of around £1,200 a year coming in from the solar. So we obviously get reduced costs on our electricity, so if things are on during the day and it's nice and sunny, we've seen by the smart meter that our costs are 0, so we can have the kettle and the dishwasher and everything else on and it will still be at 0 if it is a nice summer sunny day. And even in the winter it keeps going, it keeps on bringing it. Obviously daylight is so much shorter, you get a lot less production from that time. But this is another element of how we are trying to be sustainable with our home energy production. Probably the next step in trying to expand this sustainability would be to get some battery storage, but I've run the numbers a few times and it just doesn't quite add up unless you have an electric car. So hopefully one day we'll be able to get a little Nissan Leaf or something. Like a Tesla would be fantastic, but obviously it's probably a little bit outside of our budget. But to get a little runaround car for around the island, and then to get some battery storage that the solar panels charger would be an ideal next step. But that is maybe something for the future. But that is all we have time for. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week on Paradwys Diaries. Money. I'm gonna have to stop because I don't think you can hear me because John's on the tractor. On his tractor, going towards his sheep. What Sunday afternoons are made for, eh?